Business Advisory Commission, and it was their meeting of June 7th, 2010. Now, this is a newly formed commission here in Maplewood, and of course one of their primary roles is to be advisory and to assist the City Council in their role as being the Economic Development Authority. And so we have some film footage, so let's get started with some of that film footage. And you may think in the beginning, when you hear that they're talking about the minutes, you're wondering, well, why are we showing film footage about the discussion on the minutes? But we've got some other information to provide to supplement what that discussion is that I think that you will find very interesting. And certainly I think that eventually here, hopefully some of this information may get to the Maplewood City Council members as well. So let's go ahead with our film footage here, and then we'll return and we'll have a little discussion.
With that, I would make a motion, or I would seek a motion for approval of the agenda from May 3rd. First of all, is there any changes or notes on that? Any questions or anything on last meeting's agenda? Okay, we're good.
Chuck, you want some?
Okay. So, go ahead.
I do have a question.
Okay.
With regards to last month's meeting, I was curious for staff as to why don't we write why we chose to not take any action? Why don't we communicate to the City Council as to why we did not take any action?
Mr. Chairperson, members of the board, per the Maplewood Commission handbook, the minutes are detailed as far as summary minutes, so they detail what the motion was and what the votes were.
Okay, that's technical. Now, do we communicate to the council as to why we chose to table it or not to?
Mr. Commission member, or Mr. Chairperson, members of the commission, we do invite the chairperson or another member of the commission to present at commission meetings on behalf of the board. So it is tentatively scheduled that, if you're referring to the sign ordinance, that would go to the City Council on June 28th. So we invite Mr. Jenkins, or if he cannot make it, someone else, to present the board's opinion at that meeting.
And while I will probably be in attendance, since you were chairing at that meeting, I wasn't there for participating in the discussion. If you'd like to speak on the commission's behalf at that meeting, you're welcome, or any other commission.
It takes a lot of time. It's not really efficient. I guess I'm just a little surprised that, again, the council set us up to help them deal with issues, and I'm surprised that they wouldn't allow in the minutes for us to communicate as to why we chose to make such a recommendation.
Okay. Well, Commissioner, I'll defer over here to our council member who's joining us today.
And actually,
so anyway, here's an interesting thing, is that, of course, this is something new that was done in 2009 to put together a commission handbook for the various commissions and boards in Maplewood. And what's curious, though, about that handbook is that right here under Chapter 3 of commission meetings, it talks about the minutes. It says that minutes for each of the city commissions are usually recorded by the city staff. The minutes serve as the permanent record of the group's actions, testimony, and opinions, and they are forwarded to the City Council as input and background for council discussion and decisions. Generally, a member of a commission making a recommendation will be available to the council when such input is given. That there are 3 types of minutes: action minutes, which reflect the motion, the maker, and the second; summary minutes, which include which reflect the above action plus a brief summary of the discussion and detailed minutes, which reflects the actions plus a record of the entire discussion. The City of Maplewood requires that all commissions prepare summary minutes. However, there are times when action minutes are appropriate. So what is being discussed here is what level of minutes were put together for the commission for the permanent record and to be forwarded on to the council. And when you're listening to the discussion points, it actually sounds to me as if what has been completed are actually the action minutes, which reflect the motion, the maker, and the second. Just the result. No description of anything or a brief summary of the discussion. Now, of course, the issue that they're talking about in particular is the issue about the conversation that the commission had with regard to the sign ordinance and about with regard to how much signage should be on windows of businesses. Now, the commission decided to table this and not to take any further action and to leave that portion of the ordinance as it is to stand and not to revise it. There have been revisions to our sign ordinance in Maplewood recently, but that portion having to do with the amount of signage on windows of businesses was, of course, left to be talked about by this commission, and then the commission decided that there was not to be any further action to be taken. And the question that's being brought up is that why was there not any discussion of or inclusion of their discussion in the minutes so that the commission, the council members would know what the commission was thinking. So then, of course, then you saw the chair there, Mr. Jenkins, then referring over then to the city council member who happens to be in attendance, who is the liaison to this commission, and that's council member James Launis. So let's take a look at where this goes. Oh.
Action item on this, but yeah, I think we'll have some opportunities to review it all. Commissioner?
To share some history with you, I was on the environmental task force, and we actually walked that entire area. And what we discovered is we need green space for animal life to travel. We have all these different wetlands and open spaces, and
well, now, unfortunately, we skipped ahead a little bit, and the one thing, though, that I did want to bring out that when council member James Launis was then recognized to be to talk about this issue about the minutes is that council member Launis indicated that, well, that he has been watching all the commission meetings, all the meetings of this commission that have been televised, and that, well, he really didn't think that there was anything too substantive that had gone on in the past meetings to really be concerned about whether or not if the minutes had enough detail to them. Now, certainly as a business owner myself in Maplewood, and certainly having talked to many business owners in Maplewood, I would beg to differ that I believe that signage and the discussion of signage and the sign ordinance is indeed a very important topic, and it was indeed a matter of substance that this particular commission did indeed discuss. And so, unfortunately, I think it's very important for the council members of Maplewood to realize that signage and the discussion of signage is an important business issue for the business owners in Maplewood. And so I was hoping that we had a little film footage on that, but I think that probably summarizes it probably pretty well for you. Now, of course, one of the things that I think is very important as well is that it seemed to me like the staff member really wasn't clear on what kind of minutes are called for in the commission handbook. And it sounded to me like the staff members seemed to think that the most minimal minutes was what was called for, those of being action minutes, when indeed summary minutes is what it says here, that all commissions are to prepare summary minutes, and that there may be a time when action minutes are appropriate. And of course, any of you who have looked at the minutes coming out of the Planning Commission or out of the Design Review Board or even out of the Environmental and Natural Resource Commission meetings, you know that those minutes have a lot of detail to them, which of course is indeed very useful to the council, because in the event the council has not had an opportunity to watch or attend all of these meetings, they can simply read the minutes and really get a good flavor for what is going on at the meetings and why the commissions are making the recommendations that they are. So I hope that with this new business commission that this gets all ironed out for them and that they're able to get the kind of minutes that they deserve. So let's continue on with our film footage and then we'll come back. Okay, I've given the signal that it's time to wait a little bit. In the meantime, let me share something with you. Now, the Citizens Reporter finds news in all areas of life. And one of the ways we have found some information, of course, is that we've gone on eBay. Can you imagine that? And we have gone to eBay and on eBay put in the word Maplewood, Minnesota, and have come up with a number of very informative things, one of which I've brought with me today. We won't be talking about it really, but I've got it to bring on to show you that I've acquired it. And this is actually from March 1990. It is the Operations and Management Study of the Police Department of Maplewood, Minnesota. Now, it's just came in the mail today from my the person that I bought it from off eBay, and so I haven't had a chance to read it. However, I suspect there'll be a lot of very informative information in here, and of course it's something that we can go ahead and we'll talk about in future programs. Now, I've gotten the indication that our film clip is ready, so let's take a look at this film clip. And again, this is from the June 7th meeting of the Maplewood Business Advisory Commission. Let's take a look.
Sort of draw our attention specifically to some of the things you're looking for us for action items at the end of the meeting.
I will do that.
Thank you.
I will do that and certainly start moving along. One of them is Fish Creek, and one of the areas that we that we won't talk about a lot is a new fire training facility. One of the areas, our largest project, one of the areas that you will likely be involved in over the next 3 to 5 years is replacement of the signal system at English Street and Highway 36. If you don't travel that area, it's the only signal between Century Avenue and 35W. It's the last one left, and it's a major congestion point. Unfortunately, it's an accident waiting to happen.
Now, for those of you who are familiar with that area, that of course, if you're driving along Highway 36 and you are driving east from like 35E, for instance, there's that light at Highway 36 and English. And of course, if you're a little bit north of there, it's basically a dead end. And if you go south on English, of course, then it goes right into the heart of the Gladstone neighborhood. Now, of course, the property along that particular corridor is very important property in that it is has been retained on the comprehensive plan as a commercial light industrial. So some of that property there still has retained that designation. Now, part of the reason for that, of course, is that when we were going through our comprehensive plan revision a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. At that time, I was the mayor of Maplewood, and there was a push by staff to actually change the land use designation there so that it did not include light industrial. And the council, of course, after much discussion and upon my urging, did indeed retain the light industrial and commercial, business commercial land use designation there, which is very important because that, of course, will be the site of an interchange of some type. MnDOT does have on their plans